Welcome back to The Deep Dive. Today, we're doing something a little different. We often think of art as, a moment frozen in time.
Fixed. The moment the paint dried, that's it.
Exactly. But what if a painting wasn't just a snapshot? What if it was more like a time capsule, silently watching centuries of history unfold, the rise and fall of empires, whispers in aristocratic hallways, all of it?
It's a really compelling way to look at it. You stop treating the object as just something beautiful and start treating it as a historical witness.
Yeah.
What has this thing survived? What has it seen?
And the artifact at the center of our deep dive today is a perfect example of that. It's Titian's incredible masterpiece, Cain and Abel, painted between 1542 and 1544.
And our mission here is, I think, pretty ambitious. We're not just going to do an art history lecture. We want to unpack the profound biblical themes for sure, but also its original purpose in Renaissance Venice, and then trace its incredible journey through time.
See how it literally shaped the art that came after it.
Yes, it's a real journey.
Okay, let's unpack this. And I think we have to start with the core story itself, a story that's so old it pretty much defines the beginning of human morality.
We have to. We're in Genesis 4. Cain and Abel, the first sons of Adam and Eve. And right away, there's this distinction. Cain is the farmer, the tiller of the soil. Abel is the shepherd.
Which is a key detail, right? It speaks to these very early divisions in how people lived.
It's crucial. And the whole conflict really boils down to their offerings to God.
Yeah, it's not about who brought more, but what they brought, and maybe the intention behind it.
That's the heart of it. Abel offers the firstborn of his flock, the best of what he has, a real sacrifice. And it's accepted. Cain brings some fruits of the ground, and for whatever reason, the text implies it wasn't offered with the same pure heart. It's rejected.
And that rejection fuels this internal rage in Cain that he just can't handle.
He can't. And that's what's so timeless. It's that failure to manage the dark impulse inside. Titian understood this. He was a master psychologist. He knew this wasn't just a fist fight. It was a spiritual explosion. Cain lets the jealousy completely consume him.
Lures his brother into a field, and it's the first murder. But the real weight of the story, the part that echoes, comes after.
The confrontation. Yes. Yeah. God asks him, "Where is Abel, your brother?" And Cain's response is just chilling.
Am I my brother's keeper?
Am I my brother's keeper? It's a complete rejection of responsibility, of community, of family, of everything. It's just pure, cynical self-interest.
And that's what turns it from an ancient story into this eternal question about accountability. But the end of the story is so fascinating because there's this tension.
The duality, yeah. Cain is cursed. He has to wander. That's the justice. But then God puts a mark on him.
A mark of protection, so that he won't be killed in an act of revenge.
Exactly. So you have justice and you have mercy side by side. It's an incredibly complex moral ending, which of course makes it such powerful subject matter for an artist like Titian.
He's tapping into the highest possible drama, these universal themes of jealousy and consequence, but all within this deeply spiritual framework.
He is. And you can imagine in Renaissance Venice, a place full of ambition and rivalry, a story about unchecked jealousy would have hit home.
Okay, that brings us perfectly to the commission itself. We're talking 1542 to 1544. Titian he's the master. He's at the absolute height of his fame.
He is. And the setting is everything here. This wasn't just a painting for a wall. Cain and Abel was one of 3 huge canvases for the ceiling of a church, the Church of Santo Spirito in Isola in Venice.
A ceiling, that completely changes the dynamic. You're not looking at it, you're looking up at it.
Completely. And Titian was a genius with this stuff. He had to use extreme foreshortening, really dramatic positioning to make it work from that angle. Yeah. He makes it feel like Cain is literally lunging down out of the ceiling into the viewer's space.
So it feels immediate, almost threatening.
Visceral. A real sense of imminent violence.
And it wasn't alone up there. It was part of a series.
That's right. The other 2 were the sacrifice of Isaac and David and Goliath. When you see them all together, a clear theme emerges.
Which is?
Sacrifice. The church intended these Old Testament scenes to be seen as prefigurations, as early symbols of Christ's ultimate sacrifice.
Okay, but how does Cain and Abel fit into that? I mean, it's a story about a rejected offering that leads to murder. That seems like the opposite of a holy sacrifice.
It's the counterpoint. It's the necessary, tragic example of what happens when sacrifice goes wrong, when it's driven by selfishness and sin.
So it's showing the problem that Christ's sacrifice is meant to solve.
Precisely. It's a visual sermon on why that ultimate redemption is needed. It highlights human fallenness. You look up and you see the consequences of sin right there above you.
And the way he paints it, the visual language, the contrast is just staggering.
It's all light and shadow. Cain is this powerful, muscular figure coiled with energy, mostly in shadow. And then Abel is pale, almost glowing, completely vulnerable. Titian uses that light to sculpt the drama, to draw your eye right down the line of Cain's club to the point of impact.
It must have been just revolutionary to see that in its original setting.
A hugely powerful message. You couldn't escape it. It was a constant reminder of sin and the need for grace.
Okay, so now let's track the physical object itself, because this is where the painting really becomes a witness. This is its journey.
Here's where it gets really interesting. It starts, as we said, on the ceiling in Santo Spirito. But Venice was changing. Political shifts, religious shifts, and eventually that church was suppressed.
So the art had to be saved.
It did. The 3 paintings were carefully taken down and moved to the sacristy of another major church, Santa Maria della Salute, also in Venice. So for a while, it was still in a public religious space.
But not forever.
Not forever. At some point, like so many great works, it passed into private hands, into aristocratic collections. Now think about the history it saw then.
We're talking the 17th, 18th centuries, the decline of the Venetian Republic.
All of it. The shifting fortunes of Europe's most powerful families. This painting of the world's first conflict was now hanging in the private corridors of power, seen only by a select few.
It becomes a silent witness to all that scheming and drama.
It really does. It's protected, sure, but it's hidden. It's a piece of public religious history that's now a private status symbol. And you just wonder what secrets it absorbed,
Before it finally came back into the light.
Thankfully, yes. Eventually, it was reevaluated, restored, and found its way into a major public museum. So its journey has taken it from a church ceiling to a palace wall to a modern gallery where anyone in the world can see it.
And that physical journey is almost matched by its journey of artistic influence. Let's get into how this single painting became sort of a new rule book for artists.
It really did. It's not just what Titian painted, it's how he painted it. This work is a massive leap forward into the kind of high drama that would define the Baroque period.
Theatricality.
Total theatricality. He wasn't just telling you the story, he was making you feel the raw physical energy of it.
We talked about the composition. How did that specifically influence what came next?
It's that powerful diagonal line. The figures aren't neatly balanced. They're thrust across the canvas, creating this incredible sense of instability and action. That became the blueprint.
For who? Who picked up on this?
Oh, painters like Caravaggio, Rubens.
Yeah.
They directly adopted this approach.
Yeah.
Using strong diagonals, figures that seem to burst out of the frame. Caravaggio especially learned from Titian's use of intense light and shadow.
The chiaroscuro.
That's it. Using deep, dark backgrounds to make the illuminated figures just pop with emotional intensity. Titian basically taught a generation of artists how to turn a Bible story into a piece of high theater.
So his legacy isn't just about color, which he's famous for, but about establishing this new standard for how you tell a story with paint.
It's a demand for deep emotional resonance. The goal isn't just to show what happened, but to make you feel the psychological weight of the event. And you see that thread continue all the way to Rembrandt with his profound psychological portraits and scenes. It's a direct line of descent.
So as we kind of get to the end of our deep dive here, we should touch on the physical life of the canvas itself, the mysteries it still holds.
I mean, it's a survivor. Being on a ceiling for so long, he was exposed to everything, smoke, moisture, so it's needed a lot of conservation over the years.
Just to bring back what Titian intended.
Trying to retrieve his original vision, yeah. And of course, with any object this old, there are debates, controversies.
Like what?
Well, art historians argue about how much has been lost or changed. Was the section overpainted in the 18th century? Did an early, clumsy cleaning strip away some of the original glazes? These questions add to the allure of the painting.
So what does this all mean? When we're standing in front of Cain and Abel today, what's the takeaway for a modern viewer?
I think the biggest takeaway is just how relevant it still is. The symbolism, I mean. A story about jealousy, violence, and consequences that speaks to the 21st century just as much as it did to the 16th.
It's a mirror.
It's a mirror to the timeless struggle inside all of us, between our better angels and our darker impulses.
It's just a stunning testament to how great art can transcend everything. Its original purpose, its original context, and just speak to what it means to be human.
That's why it endures. It connects us to these eternal truths about who we are. Sin, sacrifice, redemption. These things don't change no matter how much the world around us does. That's Titian's power.
That's a fantastic place to leave it. So next time you're in a museum and you see a masterpiece like this, maybe take a second. Think not just about the brushstrokes, but about the sheer amount of history that canvas has silently watched. All the human drama. It's pretty staggering.
The survival of the object and the survival of the message are, I think, equally miraculous.
And if this deep dive has made you curious to learn more about art history, we really encourage you to check out the source for today's conversation. You can find a lot more at the blog AnitaLouiseArt.com.
And if you're looking to bring some more beauty into your own life, they have some wonderful art for sale.
Yeah.
It's all about art that's meant to uplift and inspire. Just look for the hashtags, #Art'llMakeYouSmile and #Art'llMakeYouHappy.
You can also join their community by signing up for the free newsletter. And for more, definitely check out the Anita Louise Art YouTube channel and their other podcast, 5 Minutes with Art.
There's a whole world of art waiting there for you.
That's all for this deep dive. We'll be back soon to unpack another piece of history with you.